piece of one. They smell really nice. I have made these for my husband and son, but I'm sure they won't mind me licking a small piece. That's lovely. They taste a bit like pizza. That's really nice. Hi everyone and welcome back to Courgette's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis, and in today's video I want to share with you how to make my delicious cheese and courgette scones or rolls. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make my delicious cheese and courgette scones or rolls. So this recipe is really easy, and this makes a brilliant lunchtime meal, or it can make a really nice snack as well. You can make these scones really big, or you can make them really small as well. They're also delicious with dinner as well, I have to say. I sometimes serve my husband and son some sort of minced beef dish with a couple of these, and they seem to love them. So I'm going to make some more today for my husband and son, and while I was making them I thought I'd share what I was doing with you. So the first thing I have in this bowl here is about 200 grams of ground almond flour, and it does need to be ground almond flour as well. You can't use ground almonds for this, it won't work. Ground almond flour is very fine, so it's just like flour, so it's perfect for this recipe. And then I'm also going to use about a teaspoon of baking powder as well, so I'm just going to add in some baking powder to that. And then I'm going to use a little bit of salt, not too much because the cheese is actually quite salty, I have to say. So I'm just going to use a little bit of salt, and then I'm just going to mix those ingredients round till everything's well mixed in. And then I have my cheese here. So I've got about 80 to 100 grams of grated cheese. These are strong cheeses as well, so I've chosen two. I've got Parmesan and I've got a mature cheddar as well. You can use any sort of cheese you like. Strong cheeses work really well with this though, because you can't really taste the almonds when you've got a lot of strong cheese in it, I find. So I'm just going to add in the cheese as well. And then I've got my courgette here. So I have grated one courgette, a small one I have to say. And the last time I made this recipe, the bottoms of these were quite soggy. I know everybody goes on about Bake Off and bottoms being soggy and stuff. So I did notice that the bottoms of these were slightly soggy. So what I've done this time is I've wrapped the courgette, the grated courgette. So I peeled and grated one courgette, and I've wrapped it in a muslin cloth. And what I'm going to do is just drain off the excess juice. I did a little bit earlier so that I didn't have to stand here and do this the whole time. So I'm just squeezing this until I get rid of any excess juice, and then I'm going to put this in with the cheese and the almond flour and everything else, and I'm going to mix that around. And the reason I like to use vegetables in this sort of thing is because my husband and son aren't great veggie fans, so anything I can put it in, I'm going to do it. So yes, that's why I like to add courgette and all sorts of other vegetables to funny things, funny foods. So yes, right, everything I think is well mixed in there. And in the original recipe I think I said to use about 300 grams, but I'm trying not to make as many because I've got to store them in the freezer. Obviously my husband and son won't eat these all at once, so I do like to store some in the freezer for another occasion, but I haven't got much room in the freezer, so I have sort of thirded, like I've taken a third off the ingredients, if that makes sense. So if you wanted to, you can stick to the original recipe, which is 300 grams. And I think I said 2 large or 4 small eggs. So I'm going to try 2 eggs for the moment. I've actually got 3 here. I'm going to just try 2 and see if that glues together. I've also got a bit of shell in there. Oh damn. Can I get it out? I think I saw it then. Yes, I've got it. There it is. We don't want you in there, do we? No. So now I'm just going to mix these ingredients together until everything glues together. Hopefully like a dough ball, basically. That's what you want. So I'm going to mix these around like so. Yep, that's perfect. I don't think I need an extra egg for that. So just judge it when you make these, because 2 eggs might be enough for the amount that you have in your bowl. So I'd say just judge that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and dampen my hands, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make these scones or rolls, whatever you want to call them. So I've dampened my hands and I've got myself a spare plate here, and I think I'm going to try and divide these into 6. So I'm going to divide it up into 3 parts, and then from those parts I'm going to make a scone or a roll. So I'm going to roll it in my hand and then just flatten it down a little bit, and I'm going to do the same with the next piece. So I'm just going to grab a piece of the mixture, I'm going to roll it in my hands and flatten it down a little bit, and that's basically our scone. So I'm going to just continue until I've used up all of this mixture. As you can see, I finished making the scones or rolls, so I have preheated my oven to about 200 degrees, 180, 200 depending on your oven, and I'm going to pop these into the fridge. The reason I like to put them in the fridge before I put them in the oven is simply because it helps them to harden. As they haven't got any gluten in them, they don't tend to glue, like almond flour doesn't tend to glue together, so I like to harden them first, and that way you get a really crispy outside on the scone and you get quite a nice soft inside. So as I said, I'm off to put these into the fridge for about 30 minutes. The scones have been sitting in the fridge for about half an hour and the oven has preheated now, so I'm going to pop them in. But before I do, I just wanted to say that this is a Pampered Chef stoneware baking tray, so I don't need to put any oil on this, but if you do need to put oil on it or greaseproof paper down, then please do. And I'm going to put these into the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until they go a lovely golden brown colour. The scones or rolls have been in the oven for about 25 minutes, so I'm going to take these out and I'm going to put them on a cooling rack and I'm going to leave them to cool. These scones or rolls have been on the cooling rack for a good 10 minutes now, so I'm just going to try a little piece of one. They smell really nice. I have made these for my husband and son, but I'm sure they won't mind me licking a small piece. That's lovely. They taste a bit like pizza. That's really nice. Oh yeah. So I'm sure my husband and son are going to enjoy these at some point. Maybe with a main meal or for lunch. I'm sure they're really going to like these. That's how you make my delicious cheese and courgette scones or rolls, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, I've made these for my husband and son to have at some point in the future, and I'm sure they're going to enjoy them. They smell and tasted so good, so I know they're going to like them. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.